What up? What up? What up? Let me adjust here. Welcome back to the scorecard, the boxing scorecard, where I ask people to bring your scorecard and an opinion. Sorry, your scorecard and an explanation, not just simply your opinion. We had two fights to talk about today in the welterweight division. Starting out with first, Mister at the super welterweight division. The challenger first, I guess they both were challengers. There was no champion here. It was, I like to pronounce their names properly. Sandor Martin Clemente from Spain. His nickname is Arasandor. What does that mean? Arasandor. Anyways, he holds a record of 40 wins with only 13 knockouts with just 3 losses. Not well-known boxer. Most of his fights were fought in Spain, but his biggest win came against in last year against Mikey Garcia. Nobody was expecting that. That was supposed to be like a comeback fight for Mikey Garcia, and Mr. Sandor Clemente won a majority decision against Mikey Garcia. That one, no one was expecting that. That wasn't. So that was his claim to fame just last year, beating Mikey Garcia, and of course he went up against Teofimo Lopez, whose biggest career win is against Lomachenko a couple of years ago. Since then, he's had a few setbacks, especially since moving up in weight class. His full name is Teofimo Andres Lopez, alias The Takeover, from the USA. He holds a record of 18 wins with only 13 KOs and 1 loss to George Kambosos, who Devin Haney came and took the belts from him. But yeah, Teofimo Lopez, very good boxer. Most of his major wins, not most, all of his bigger wins have come when he was at the lower weight class at 135 pounds. He beat Vasily Lomachenko, who at the time was, on most people's list as one of the best boxers in the sport. So yeah. But since then, he's had a few setbacks, especially since moving up in weight classes. So still, the jury is still out on how he's going to do at 140 pounds. So I apologize. Before I said this at super welterweight, this is just at welterweight, not super welterweight. So 140 pounds. The official scorecard was 94, 95, 96 to 93, and 97 to 92 for Mr. Lopez. It was for the WBO International Super Lightweight belt. A lot of people were disagreeing with the wide score of 97 to 92. My official scorecard at the time of the stoppage, at the end of the fight, was 95 to 94 for Mr. Lopez. And of course, I'll break it down. So I had the same score as one of the judges. Let's get right into it. Of course, any comments, please. I forgot to any comments, please leave your scorecard in the comment sections, or any questions. I'm going to get through my scorecard first, break through each round, and explain each round, and then get through any comments or questions and go from there. And we're also, after this, going to talk just a couple minutes about the Terrence Crawford fight. Of course, he won. There's no need to score that fight. He won every single round. But it's the way that he was winning the round. It wasn't just going through the motions. The way he was doing it, like Crawford, man, he's smart, man. That guy, he's on a different level when it comes to his smarts. Anyway, so round 1 for Lopez and Martin. I gave round one to Lopez. My specific notes for round 1 was Lopez was busier trying to make the fight. No big clean punches were landed. So Lopez, he was like Sandor Martin. He was a very good defensive boxer. Like, he was moving back the whole time, boxing, but he wasn't really throwing that much. Lopez was the one being busier and obviously trying to make the fight. So I gave round 1 to Mr. Lopez. Round 2, if we can get those pictures moving. Round 2, I marked it as a close round. At the end of the round, Martin knocked down Lopez with a quick right hook from his southpaw position. Lopez was trying to charge in, and he walked right into it. Similar to, I always use this example because it's one of the more popular ones. Yeah, you can see the anger coming out of him here. When Mayweather knocked out Ricky Hatton, caught him with that left hook. That was the same hook that Martin caught this guy with, caught Lopez with coming in. Dropped him. He wasn't wobbly. They call it a flash knockdown, but a knockdown nonetheless. The thing though, after the knockdown, Martin literally he did nothing for the rest of the round. Like he was already satisfied with just winning the round. That's the difference between amateur and pro. At the amateur level, if you get an 8 count, it doesn't automatically mean that you lose the round. In amateur, it's more they take it's more for, they'll give you an 8 count more for the safety of it. If you just take a hard shot that makes your head snap back, they'll give you 8 count for that, but it doesn't mean you automatically lose the round. You can still come back and do better and win the round. At the professional level, when it comes to judging and scoring professional rounds, if you get knocked down, you automatically lose that round. Sorry, not automatically. You can still come back and put it on your opponent. If you knock your opponent down, or even if you don't knock them down, but you really put it on them, you can actually make it a 9-9 round. Or sorry, 9-8 round, which you would still be losing. But if you knock them down, they might make it 9-9. So I hope I didn't confuse you too much with that one. So round 3, I gave to Mr. Lopez. Did I give it to Mr. Lopez? Yeah, round 3 to Mr. Lopez. My specific notes: good footwork from Martin. Yeah, the question was: is it good footwork from Martin, or is it that Lopez doesn't know how to cut the ring off? Because it just seemed. What else did I write? Martin is on pure counterpunch mode. He only throws when Lopez throws more than one. So yeah, that's what I mean. Martin, like he wasn't being too busy. When he was throwing, he was accurate, but it just wasn't enough for him to look like he was taking over the round. And again, if Lopez he was literally like kind of following around instead of trying to cut him off more. He was more following him around. So that's what it was. I was kind of questioning whether it was good footwork from Martin, or is Lopez just not not good with the footwork like that, not using it at least. Round 4, the next 3 rounds in a row, I marked them as close rounds. So round 4, see this punch that Lopez is landing right here? He was doing a lot of that. He was coming straight right to the body and bringing another straight right to the head right away. He was doing this a lot. This was the main thing that was touching Martin. This punch right here, and then he would bring it right back up to the top with the same right hand. It wouldn't be as much power bringing it up top, because he wouldn't really bring it back or turn his hips back. You just, the one to the body, as you can see right here, he's extending it full extension, turning his hip, putting the weight onto his body weight onto the front leg. The one up top is really just bringing the arm back and landing it, not with power, but a scoring blow at least. Yeah, very good one right there. What was I going into round 5 now? Also, I gave it to round 10. Gave it to Lopez. Round 4, Lopez. Round 5, Lopez. I marked round 5 as a close round. My specific notes for round 5 was not much action, but it's mainly because Martin is not engaging and he's only looking to counterpunch. 0 jabs from Lopez. So yeah, there wasn't much action going on, but like I said, it's more because Martin was not engaging. Lopez was trying to come forward. He was trying to make the fight. I could give him that. It's not like they were both just staring at each other and making a boring fight. Lopez was doing his best to engage and start Martin. So Martin had very good footwork that round in not forcing himself to engage. There was a few times where Lopez had him against the ropes or the corner, and Martin did not. He didn't stay there for more than 2 seconds before he worked his way out and got back to the center and then kept moving at distance. Round 5 is where I noticed Lopez was not really throwing that many jabs. As the next pick comes up with a jab here. This is one of the, he did land this jab here, but it was very few in between, far and few in between of jabs that was landed for Mr. Lopez in the fight. Round 6, I also gave to Mr. Lopez, but I also marked it as a close round. Specific notes for round 6. If Lopez would cut off the ring more, it would make it more obvious that he's the one trying to make the fight. Nothing stuck out except that. Again, the punch volume from both boxes was not a lot, and I guess, I don't know, just because I've been studying this for the past 15, 20 years, you can just see the movement with the two boxers, and you can kind of see who's trying to engage, even if there's not much action, who is at least trying to make the fight. Like, you don't just, sometimes it's not just simply about walking into the fire, especially now. Lopez, remember, he's moved up to 140. When he was doing most of his damage and making those highlight reel knockouts, that was when he was at 135 pounds. That's the one thing that they talk about, that in leading up to the fight, whether it was the press conferences or all the news media shows that talk about it. They were mentioning that Lopez usually fights on college football Heisman night, on the Saturday night when they announce who's the Heisman winner for college football. The past couple of years, Lopez has had some like highlight reel knockouts on that same night. So they're trying to continue with that. But again, the difference is he's fighting bigger guys now that can actually take some of those punches. So, and especially you're fighting a guy like Martin, who not only is naturally bigger, but he's more defensive minded. So you're not going to catch him with, a lot of them highlight reel combinations. It was hard to land one punch, as Lopez saw. So again, a lot of people are criticizing Lopez, but it was really the only thing that I stuck out is that if he can just work on cutting off the ring more. If he can just work on cutting off the ring more, his offense would stick out a lot more. All right, going into round 7. The next 2 rounds I actually gave to Martin. Round 7, I didn't even mark round 7 as a close round. I just gave it to Martin. My notes for round 7 was Martin made him miss and counter a lot more this round. Same kind of knockdown by the ref, but the ref called it a slip. Yes. This was the round. A lot of people were talking about this. In the 7th round, Martin he was doing what he was doing the whole fight, but he just did more of it in round 7. He was making Lopez miss more, slipping and ducking under and blocking. No, more slipping and ducking under. Like, Lopez was rarely touching him to the head. And Martin also caught Lopez coming in like he did in the 2nd round with a right hook from his southpaw position. And Lopez went down the same way, but the referee marked it down as a slip, not a knockdown. It was it basically looked like the same way that it landed in the 2nd round. So I don't know. Looking at it fast, yeah, but I don't know. Maybe the referee was closer, so might have thought that it didn't land, or I don't know. But that was controversial. That could have been another knockdown. And if that was the case, actually, if round 7 would have went the other way, 8, then my final score would have been a draw. Wow. Yes, that was a big. That's why, as a referee, you got to be on point and paying attention at all times. If that round, because I marked that round 7, 10-7. I marked that round 10-9 for Martin. If that round would have been marked 10-8 for Martin because he got that knockdown, then the fight would have been a draw for me. Going into round 8, all right, round 8 and 9, I marked both of those rounds as close rounds. Specific notes for round 8. Same as round 7, Lopez made it closer. Yeah, man, thanks for switching up the picks. Same as round 7, but Lopez made it closer. They both were. Martin wasn't moving and backing up as much. He was still moving, but he would take more time to stay in one spot and land a few punches first, or when I say land a few punches, he was waiting to counter punch. So he would move, wait for Lopez to throw something, and then stop on the spot and then throw a quick combination before he was moving again. So I marked that one as a close round, but I still gave it to Martin. Round 9, also marked it as a close round, but I gave round 9 to Lopez. My notes for round 9 was Martin is simply not active enough. He kind of went back to what he was doing earlier in the fight. And then the final round, round 10. So going in after round 9, I had an 86-84 for Lopez. Going into round 10, the final round of the fight, I marked round 10 for Martin. That's how it ended up 95-94 for Lopez. I didn't write any notes for round 10. Yeah, not much to write about there. So where do we go from here? After the fights, one of the reasons why I don't like making I like making predictions on fights, but not betting money, because we don't know what's going on in these guys' personal lives. That's either that's helping them stay focused or unfocused. Some fighters can kind of block the outside noise. They might have a lot of stuff going on in their life, but as soon as they get into the gym, they're 100% focused on the task at hand. Some fighters, they can't handle it. They can't handle a lot of the outside stresses that's going on in their life, and it affects them in the ring. So, but it's one thing to use it as an excuse when you lose, but then say that everything's all good when you have these things going on, but then you win, because past couple of fights there's been things going on outside. Speaking of Mr. Lopez, now there was his past couple of fights. He had some things going on, but he was still able to win, other than the Kambosos fight. But his other wins, whether it was Richard Comey or even maybe the Vasily Lomachenko fight, even the Lomachenko fight, he had some stuff going on outside between him and his dad, and he was still able to win the biggest fight of his career. So, it's one thing to say that it's all good, but then when you lose, you want to use that as an excuse. So saying that to say this, boxing is a sport where you have to stay focused the whole time. It's not really an option to, unfortunately. Where do you have in the rankings here? So 140 pounds. 140 pounds. The champion. Hold up. Sorry, super light junior welterweight. WBC, we got Jose Cepeda, Regis Prograis, Jose Ramirez, and Teofimo Lopez at number 4, Sandor Martin at number 5. Gary Antoine Russell, we talked about him. He's at number 6 right now. He's moving up. It's very interesting to see how Ryan Garcia, the media boxer, goes. This guy, I swear, the only reason this guy's still relevant is because he's his social media following. So he still has a lot to prove. The WBA has Teofimo Lopez all the way at number 7 and Gary Antoine at number 8. And they got these, who's up here? Ismail Barrasso, O'Hara Davis. What? Bakhtar Ahmedov. They got these guys at the top. Oh, no. Let's skip over this WBA. I don't know what's going on with WBA. IBF. The champions there, we got Mr. Ponce. We had Subriel Mateas, Jack Catterall with a very close fight with Josh Taylor. I believe those guys should be having a rematch soon. So that should be interesting there. Teofimo Lopez is all the way at number 6, and Jose Ramirez is at number 7. I believe those both should be a little bit higher. And the WBO has Teofimo Lopez at number 1, actually. Josh Taylor is the champion there. Liam Paro, number 2. Jose Ramirez at number 3. Sandor Martin all the way at number 6. Then we got Antoine Gary Russell on there. Antoine Gary Russell, then one of them guys at 140 who has the power not the power. He has the power right now to do damage. Hopefully he can keep this power as he moves up in competition, because he has the skill level, but he has the punching power to match his skill level. Speaking of Gary Antoine Russell. Yeah. So both these guys, Lopez, he still has, he still has a few. I guess it would be, I don't know, either skills-wise, what he has to improve in the ring is cutting off the ring. Outside the ring, it's just maybe dealing with mental issues another way, seeing a sports psychologist just to help with that, so just something. But something has to, you got to do something to help you stay focused, in there, because you don't want to, get caught slipping from 1 second, and this picture right here is what can happen to you when you get caught with a hook when just charging in. And that's one simple defensive move that he can do. What he was trying to do is come down, and it was actually a punch that was working for most of the night. He was, what I like to call the high-low. He wasn't even coming high. He was coming straight down, this exact punch right here, coming straight down to the body at full extension. Continue with that. He needs to continue with that, landing it at full extension because it was working. It was definitely working. And then just using the footwork to get closer on the inside. So if there's one piece of advice I could give Mr. Lopez, is just working on the footwork, but not just doing, because it's applying these things in sparring and on the bag. Because it's one thing just to jump rope just to improve your footwork, or do a bunch of ladder drills, or train in the sand to get stronger, to get your legs stronger. But it's another thing to be able to apply these new acquired skills or new acquired strength that you have in your legs. And you acquire these new skills by repeating them in practice, whether it's sparring or just simply shadow boxing, visualizing inside the ring, cutting the person off, staying on one side of the ring, and just moving lateral from side to side, maybe making a quick sharp turn. We'll get to Crawford in a sec. Making a quick sharp turn. Running out of time here. Making a quick sharp turn to get back to the center. So Mr. Lopez, just work on that footwork. As far as Mr. Martin Sandor, man, he's doing good for himself. He has a big win against Mikey Garcia, and he did perform very well against Teofimo Lopez. So he might have earned himself. Actually, with that being said, it might be tough for him to get some big shots because he's one of those guys that's a high risk but low reward. He's a high risk because he's a very good boxer and a very good counterpuncher. So, and as you can see with Lopez, he can catch you walking in. But he's a low reward because not a lot of people know him. He doesn't have a big social media presence, so he doesn't generate as much money when it comes to how much you're gonna get paid for that fight. So he's kind of in a tough spot. He has to get a few good knockouts under his record to get going there. So yeah. There you have it. That was the one. Now it's gonna talk about between 2 to 5 minutes about Crawford and Mr. Avanesian. Not a lot of people knew Mr. Avanesian, David Avanesian. Very tough boxer. Probably consider him like a B-level boxer, but always coming to fight. His biggest win is beating Josh Taylor, who's from the UK and a former Olympian, a very good boxer. And when I heard that he beat Josh Taylor, that made me realize that he's going to be coming to fight, because he's one of those guys that even if you're a better boxer than him, he's going to try to out tough you, and that's how he beat the big upset that he had. Wow, his name's slipping off my head right now. David Avanesian. Someone give it to me. I can't go into BoxRec right now, but his biggest win, he just beat homeboy that just went to the Olympics too. He has the Olympics tattooed on the side of his. Anyways, my whole point of saying that is a guy like Avanesian, he's going to keep his hands up, and if you make one mistake, he's going to make you pay for it and pay hard. But when you fight someone like Terence Crawford, who is A+ when it comes to levels of boxing, not just A, he's A+. Terence Crawford can adapt. Like, he's fought so much different ways in his career. Every time I see these guys fight, no, not Aegis Kilvasquez. That's who Terence Crawford fought. Well, maybe Avanesian fought him too. Maybe he did beat him too. But no, it's a UK guy. I was gonna say Josh Taylor, but it's not Josh Taylor. Layman Peterson. No, Lamont Peterson is from the USA. Maybe look in BoxRec and look up Avanesian. Look up Avanesian's last name. BoxRec Avanesian, and some guy from the UK. He's a very good boxer though. Went to the Olympics and everything. Kelly. Is it Josh Kelly? It might be Josh Kelly. Anyways, the way that Terence Crawford beat this guy is like, so smart because he just used touch punches. Like he would still be careful. He still had to be careful because, like I said, Avinician will catch you and hurt you. He did fight Josh Kelly. Yes, that's the fight. Avinician's biggest win was when he beat Josh Kelly, and this was not too long ago too. So that's why I kept an eye open. I was still before this fight. Obviously, I was still picking Terrence Crawford to win. I picked Terrence Crawford to win by 9th round knockout. I picked Terrence Crawford to win by 9th round knockout. He ended up stopping him in the 6th with a tight hook, man. Again, Terrence Crawford, it was just pop, 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 pop the whole time. Anyone that's trained with me or boxed before, or if you box at a gym with an old school, a lot of things that I say come from my old school coach. So if you have an old school coach, when they tell you about like just touching up, not every punch has to be a bomb. Not every punch has to be a bomb. Just touch him up, pop, 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 whether it's straight punches. And Terrence Crawford was using most straight punches to keep him. Again, perfect jab here. You see how Terrence Crawford has his right hand right by his jaw, right by that jawline as he's stepping forward with that jab. Textbook jab right here, right through the guard. That's the other thing too, because Avinician, look, he actually has his hands up, but Crawford timed it to really pop him right in the middle of that to throw that timing off. So again, man, just showing why Terrence Crawford is an A+ fighter. So he was just using his touch punches at full extension. Avinician kept his hands up, was just waiting for that one mistake. But Terrence Crawford rarely makes mistakes. And Avinician just could not get close to him at all. Anytime that he would get close to him, he would eat a couple of punches walking into that fire, which is the risk that most street fighter boxers take. Like if you're fighting someone that is just that much superior skill level to you, sometimes you have to sacrifice taking a few punches coming in, like trying to come at the person, walking them down. Avinician already knew that was the case, that he was definitely not going to try to outbox Terrence Crawford. So the way his hands up are right now in this picture right here, he had his hands up like that the whole fight, but trying to come forward. Because I got to give him credit. Avinician, he didn't quit. Like he didn't lose. He didn't win one round, but not because he was not trying. He was trying. But Terrence Crawford was just so perfect with his touch punches, and then every once in a while, bam, just one nice one to the body. Not even hard, just hard enough to let you know you're not going to just walk me down like this. Boom, boom, slip in an uppercut. The one time he came with a hook and then an uppercut right after that. Like, that's what I mean, man. Throwing punches from different angles like that. I swear, man. Every time I see, this whole debate between Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, who's going to win, every time I see one of them fight, it's like my weight shifts between who's going to win, because these guys are both A+. Terrence Crawford, man, this guy's something else. He's something else. I'm going to get off in a couple seconds here. There's nobody better in boxing than Terrence Crawford that switches from southpaw to orthodox. Right here, you see him in this orthodox stance here. I think he knocked him out in this orthodox stance, catching him with a tight right hook. In the last fight, we talked about how Sandor knocked out Lopez with a left hook walking in. Terrence Crawford was so comfortable with his defense. He was literally right in front of him like this on defense, and then caught him with a right hook right on the chin, throwing at the same time. You know how perfectly accurate your punch has to be, that you throw at the same time as the other person? Like when you both throw at the same time, it's all about who's going to get to who first. You land yours before your opponent could get to you, and both you guys threw the same punch. That's this pure accuracy and very good technique. Not very good, excellent technique and accuracy from Terrence Crawford. So yeah, man, he just showed once again that the level that he's on. So yeah. And where's everybody at today? I know it's a different time. No one's expecting the scorecard at today. Usually I'm here on Sundays, 9:30 a.m. But again, if you can't catch the show live, you can catch it on any podcast platform. Yeah. Shout out to Talk and Fight YouTube channel, number one boxing channel on YouTube. Also check out me out. Cedric Sports Training, another boxing channel, and on any social media at Cedric Sports. Don't forget to check out the Talk and Fight website too. All great stuff there. Any information you want about boxing there. Daily shows, daily news, daily fighters. Trying to get some more interviews up here. So yeah, man, shout out to Talk and Fight. And yeah, make sure you pay attention. If you haven't done it yet, please press the like button and tell a friend to tell a friend. Yeah, Cedric Sports. I'm out. Peace.